His name is Garrett, and he rips bits. His name is Garrett, hence why it's Garrett's.
From the top, 3, 2, to me, Gareth, action ready, yes, hello, and go. Good evening and welcome. This is Gareth's improvised stand-up comedy. The way this works is that people send in suggestions that I haven't seen, and I riff on them for your pleasure. My name is Gareth. I riff. It's Gareth's. And by the way, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. Hit that little bell. Hit the little bell there. The first segment is Riffs Just In. Every week, I riff on 3 crazy news stories picked out by my producer, so we're going to do that shit right now. So, let's have a look. First story of the week is British Demote goat after it marches out of line. Is there any more? No, that is just not, what is going on in England? What year is it in England where they're demoting goats? They're degoting. How the fuck do you demote a goat? Do you dress it down? You're like, listen, that was not a great performance. It was bad. You're like, that's not gonna do that hacky shit, you know? But so the British, who's marching goats? Why are they marching goats? Why is that even happening? When was the last time you saw a march, an actual march? Period. But if you saw a march, was there a goat there? Just some fucking goat hanging out? Just like, meh. You're like, oh, well, this is a good march. They've got a goat and everything. This is really coming together nicely here. They've got everything. This is good. But that goat seems a little out of line. And they're like, after this, I'm going to go dress down suspenders and let him know he's not going to march any longer. In the stable, just like, look, you've had a good run, but unfortunately, you just keep trotting out of step. I'm sorry, suspenders, we're going to have to let you go. Abacus, you're up, my friend. It's pathetic. What, England? Come on. Be better. Do better. All right, there you go. That is the first one. Okay, here's the, oh, man. Okay, well, obviously, we had a big day in America yesterday because the Capitol was taken over. So this headline is, confused Americans think Rioter's name who stole podium from U.S. Capitol is Via Getty. Oh, my God. That's amazing. Okay, so people, I mean, I don't know who missed this. Nobody missed this story yesterday, but a bunch of Trump supporters broke into the state capitol in D.C. and took over Congress. And honestly, I think they got as much done as our actual government. I'll be totally honest, I feel. And the truth is, I would love to let them, we should have given the people who broke into Congress like another 2 weeks to see if they could pass anything. That would have been a good decision, right? Leave them in there for a couple weeks, see if they come out and be like, everybody's getting $2,000 stimulus checks. I'd be like, I'm into this. This is better. This is a better situation. But yeah, so there's the one dude who stole like a podium, and he marched a podium out there, and he looks like he's got a shit-eating grin on his face, and he's just taking like the speaker's podium. I mean, I know it's not that funny, but I mean, it's like the brashness to be like, yeah, I'm going to fucking take the speaker's podium and get someone to take a picture of you. Like, you know what I mean? Like I used to shoplift cigarettes, and I was like, this is the biggest crime in the world. This guy's taking the speaker's fucking podium out of the government, and he's like, hey, no, get another one. Make sure it's not blurry. Say fuck you on 5. Fuck you. But yeah, they think his name is Via Getty. Because it's an image. So that's cool. Like, I don't know, whatever. But what a day we had. What a phenomenal day we had yesterday. Really, just everything's coming together in this country. That's for sure. Oh, good. Finally, here we go. We can actually move to another nation's crime. Sure, America has a bunch of insurgent pockets and domestic terrorists trying to take over a government that totally doesn't fucking work. And the government's like, how dare you? This is the chamber where we do dog shit. We don't do anything here. How dare you come in here and interrupt our nothingness? But this is thieves pelt French police with burgundy wine in motorway chase. Well, that is nice to see some real stereotypical French crime. Thieves pelt French police with Burgundy wine and motorway. So these people have stolen a bunch of wine, and the cops are chasing them, and they start throwing wine at them. That is as French as it can possibly get. The only way to make this more French is if they, like, threw brie on the freeway to see if they could, like, skid the tires or something, you know? The way you do that is you start going through, like, you need a sommelier there so you can see which one's the shittiest. You don't want to throw your top-tier Burgundy at the cops. You know, you want to be in the back of the van just like, oh, what is this? This is a 1980. Is this a classy? Yes, that's too good. Don't use that. Okay, what about this one? This is a 1995. Yes, it's shit. Throw that. Ah! You know? Like, that's just, bravo, France. Bravo. It is really on brand, you know? And then after this, we would beat them with the baguettes, right under the Arc de Triomphe. Right near the Serre River. Huh? We would beat them with bottles of wine, and then we would crush them. How we crush grapes, huh? Oh, speaking of grapes, how about crepes? Hey! All right. Well, there we go. That is the end of Riffs Just In. Okay, so these are now suggestions. These are audience suggestions. I've not seen any of these suggestions. This week's guest suggestion is from the great Roy Wood Jr. I don't know if you know Roy Wood Jr., but he's from Trevor Noah's Daily Show, Netflix's Space Force, and Better Call Saul. He's on @RoyWood Jr. on everything, so go follow Roy. He is a guy I've known for a long time and truly has been one of the best comics I've ever worked with, and it's always good to see him get insanely popular. Okay, here we go. Oh, great suggestion, first of all. The spices in the spice rack you never use. Yeah, there's a lot of those. You know what I mean? Like, you'll just be like, marjoram? What the fuck is marjoram? You know what I mean? You're like, what do I need this for? Right? Or how about, I mean, the fact that there's a spice called, like, cumming, basically, you know? I mean, I know it's cumin, but it's very easy to just be like, cumin? I'll throw a little cum in there, sure. Hey, how much cum do you guys like in your spaghetti? I'm coming. Who needs cum? You know, there's tons of those. There's like sage. I'm like, what? What? It's going to be like frankincense. You're like, frankincense? How the fuck did this end up in here? There's just a ton of them. I mean, if you've ever like tried to look for a spice at the grocery store, you are like in the weeds. You know what I mean? You got to scan that like 9 or 10 times before you actually find the thing you're looking for. But you're just going through a bunch of stuff. You're just like, dill, weed, what the fuck, cumming, bay leaves, marjoram, help, rosemary, thyme. And the funny thing about thyme is they always said that you can't put thyme in a bottle. Well, fuck you. Vons did it. Got thyme in a bottle, right? It's pretty good. But yeah, I always remember that. I always remember that when I was a kid looking at my mother's spice rack. I was like, there's like, I mean, you don't even need a spice rack. You use like 5 spices total, right? It's like garlic and then, 4 others, like, some other shit. But the idea that you have to have a full rack, right? It's just like cleavage. It's like, that's the American, a full rack. Gotta have every spice spot filled. What is the spice situation like at the Spice Girls place? Are they just, I mean, it's a dumb question, but it deserves an answer. It deserves a dumb answer, which is that they're probably, what would be great is if you went to Ginger Spice's house and you're like, this could use some ginger. And she's like, I've not got any. You're like, Ginger Spice is out of Ginger Spice. So this is dark. This is a dark time. Alrighty, here we go. Talking your way out of a traffic ticket. A white person suggestion. Yeah, talking your way out of a traffic ticket, I've never been able to do that. I've never, I have 2 great stories about getting pulled over. Both do end in tickets, but have a little bit of lightness to them. One time I was working on something, and my computer just shit the bed, and so it was totally screwed, and I had, like, a meeting later that day, and so I called my buddy, and my buddy's like, here's a shop where you can take your computer. So I was trying to take my computer to this place. This is like a PC, like, not a good situation. So I'm trying to take my laptop to this computer store, get it fixed, and then get back home, and then go to this meeting. And I don't have enough time, but I'm ambitiously trying it, right? So I get pulled over going, like, 90 down, like, the 101, and I'm like, oh, shit. And the cop pulls me over, and my car is real dirty. Like, I'm one of those people who, like, when you open the door as a passenger, I'm like, stop judging me and give me 10 minutes. Stop. And someone's like, is that water bottle have piss in it? And I'm like, there are no questions in this vehicle for the rest of the journey. There will be no more talking about the car. Now, if you give me 5 minutes, I need to get a shovel and clear your seat, if that's understandable. So the cop pulls me over, and I'd also just gone to the gym. That was the other thing. I'd gone to the gym, so I just had left my place, so I had gym shorts on. So I get pulled over, and I don't have my ID on me. So the cop pulls me over, and he's like, hey, registration ID or whatever. And I'm like, I don't have an ID. I'm like, I have a Bally Total Fitness card. And he was like, he scoffed. He was like, he was like, I hit it like I gut punched him. He was like, this guy's a loser. And he's looking around my car, and he just sees a computer. He sees a bunch of papers and shit, and he just goes, are you a student? And I just go, no, sir, I'm just a dirty man in a dirty car. And he was like, what? And he like laughed. And he was like, okay. And then he went to his car and he like looked up, all the stuff. And he did give me a ticket. I think he could have given me a worse ticket, but I didn't talk my way out of it. The other one that is pretty great is I was on my way to a show. I got pulled over and I was flying to a show at Flappers. Fuck off. And I was flying to a show. And as I got there, like I was getting close, and he pulls me over, and he pulls me over pissed. He was like one of those ones where he was like, pulled me over. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, please stop. I'm a dirty man in a dirty car. And he's like, what? And I'm like, it worked one time. And he gets a call that there's a fire, and he has to leave, which I never thought happened in real life. I just thought that happened in movies. But the guy, sure enough, he was just like, what? God damn it, it's your lucky day. He goes, there's a fire. I was like, yes, there is. It's in my belly, and it's joy. So I've never been able to fully get out of a traffic ticket. Okay. The immortality of Keith Richards. Yeah, it is shocking. It is shocking. I think he like quit smoking like 2 years ago or something. Which, dude, you're like 91. What the fucking ride it out at this point? What are you doing? This is not the time for tweaks, But I don't know. I mean, I've heard that you hear stories constantly. I mean, he just has done every drug and somehow holds. I mean, that is what every drug doer aspires to. Is like if I knew I had that in me, I would do it. Like, I mean, he's like a Greek god of drugs. He's like Ingestus. It's like, Keith, do you want anything? He's like, I'll ingest anything. Like, Keith, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I'm ingest this. Give me it, Just throw any pill you want down his throat. Oh, yeah, ingest this has got it. He can just he snorts cocaine. The dude probably just, like, eats bags of heroin just like, it'd be nice to feel something. Can you imagine him telling his friends he's quitting smoking? So I'm quitting smoking. Yeah, that's a good one, Keith. No, I am. I'm done with it. Imagine, you're 90. No, I'm done. You're already dead, though, right? I was under the impression that you had died a few years ago and this was a robot. I thought this was Keithbot. No, man, it's just me. I'm Ingestus. So, yeah, he's fucking nuts. What a treasure. We need to study him. You know how they study football players' brains after they've had CTE? We need to cut Keith Richards open and figure out what the fuck is going on in there. My guess is there's just like a stack of like livers, like they're just steaks at a butcher shop. Like he's just got 9 livers in there, and you're like, oh, okay. Like a cow has 2 stomachs. Like Keith Richards just has like 8 livers. Yeah. So what a guy. God bless him. Okay. If Uncle Nigel was on Twitter, what would he tweet about? Well, for those of you who don't know, I do a web series with my mother right here on YouTube called Pamdemic, which you can watch. And my Uncle Nigel has been a guest star, and he's a Scottish lunatic. And if he was on Twitter, what would he tweet about? He would tweet about Trump. Like, I love my Uncle Nigel, but I cannot pry him away from the jaws of CNN by any stretch. He's just like, he loves CNN. So he would probably just be tweeting. He'd probably be tweeting at Jake Tapper all the time, just like, Jake, bloody lovely segment today. Thought that was absolutely phenomenal. This Trump man's deranged. What's his problem? Just stuff like that. I would love to get him on Twitter. Trying to explain the characters would be tough, though. I'd be like, you get 140 characters. You'd be like, that's way too bloody many characters. I can't write that many characters. I'd be like, no, it's not. He's like, no, I can't. It's a lot of characters. It's like a Broadway bloody musical. I'd be like, no, Nigel. But yeah, he'd tweet about that. He'd tweet about his dog, probably a good amount. But yeah, politics. I told him to watch Fahrenheit 9/11, 15 years ago. And my aunt was like, I wish you'd never told him to watch that because he's like up all night breaking it down like game film, But he would be one of those people who just is echoing CNN, And he's so smart. And yet that's where he gets most of his information is from CNN. So you're like, eh. But yeah, I mean that in England they get CNN and it's not a good thing. That's what they all watch, But the BBC News just got the new guy in charge of BBC, not just BBC News, but BBC is some Goldman Sachs prick. So even watching BBC News in like a year is going to be worthless. So who gives a shit? But that's what he would tweet about. That would be Uncle Nigel's Twitter. Secrets. Wow, what a fucking weird one. Secrets. Don't tell anyone. Yeah, what about them? Well, you've got to be good. You've got to be good at keeping secrets, right? Like if someone gives you a secret, you've got to be like a good secret keeper. I'm very good at that. Like if someone's like, you can't tell anybody, I actually hold up my end of the bargain. I do not tell anyone, But on the other hand, you know how fucking great it is when someone tells you the secret that they're not supposed to tell you? That's a delicious feeling. When they're just like, I'm sworn to secrecy. You're like, you are fucking breaking that, and I love it. Like you can't tell anyone. It's like, yeah, well, that was your policy, and look where we are. But yeah, I mean, and then there's personal secrets, right? Like there's personal secrets. Like I in my album did this bit about how I shit my pants on a plane, and that was a secret. I was like, this goes to the goddamn grave with me. But then there you go, secrets. Then eventually I was like, comedically, this is funny. So I have to tell the story about when I pooped my pants on a plane. Damn it. But yeah, so you gotta know when to keep them. I don't know what you really want from me on your secret suggestion, but it's fun to see secrets. It's weird to see that word. Doesn't look like how it would be spelled. Strange things are happening over here. By the way, I'm on Keith Richards' drugs. Jose's soulmate. Well, who the fuck? Yeah, me. I'm his soulmate. That's it. We complete each other. We've made a pact to never wed or marry, the both of us, because we love each other enough. We are soulmates, right? He's daddy's baby. So daddy is not going to let him. I don't even like him meeting other animals, Like he'll sniff another animal's butt sometimes, and I'll be like, there's a ring on that claw. Tighten it up over there, sir. And that's the same thing with him. Like he's seen me like pet other animals before, and he'll just be like sitting. I'll be like petting an animal, like who's a good girl, and then I'll look over and he's like, dun dun, noted. But I would say it's down. I mean, he's my soulmate, and I think I'm his. It's either down to me or this ball of foil that came off of some chocolate. So that's the competition. It's sort of a bachelor competition we have going right now. It's down to the two finalists for Jose's soul, and it's me, Garrett, the person who, as soon as someone suggested that I take him in because he was going to be euthanized, jumped at the chance and said, yes, I will take in this poor being who faces death, untimely death, and I will take him in and he will be my best friend. And then since then I have nurtured him and loved him and fed him and cleaned his poop and filled his water and taken him to the vet and cleaned his butt and brushed his fur. And so that's me, and then it's down to this piece of foil that came off of some chocolate that's rolled up into a ball. So, I don't know. We're not sure. We're doing hometown visits this weekend. Jose gets to meet my extended family, and then I believe he's going to meet the rest of the wrapper because there's like kind of a paper outside to it, the chocolate wrapper, the foil. Anyway, so it's down to those two. So it's either me or the little thing of foil that Jose has been consumed with. Vampire movies. Yeah, they had a real run there for a while, right? Like where the Twilight series and shit like that. Like, I have no interest in seeing those. I mean, I liked some vampire movies like when I was a kid, but to me, like a vampire movie is about like, vampires. It's not about like trying to bang vampires, or like a wolf boy competing with a fellow vampire over the love of some pale girl who sits on a log, if memory serves. Well, I mean, those movies were just like I mean, they're just like any other movies where you're just like, this is not for me. But those movies, I was like, what the fuck? What is happening here? I read this thing about Robert Pattinson the other day, and it was like some lunatic fan like camped in front of his place, and he took her out to dinner. I was like, what the fuck? What? And people were like, isn't Robert Pattinson the best? I was like, he's looking to get stabbed. That's what he's looking to do. He's looking to be stabbed, But it wouldn't matter because he's a vampire unless it's a wooden stake through the heart. By the way, that's how Robert Pattinson should go. Stake through the heart, period. End of story. End of discussion. But yeah, I can't really think of many others besides. I mean, there's, what was that one? The Lost Boys. The Lost Boys is a real weird one. That's one of those ones you rewatch. You like watch when you're a kid and you rewatch now and you're like, boy, I was an idiot. And then there's that Interview with a Vampire. But Tom Cruise being a vampire, he just can't be small. He probably is a vampire. He was probably like sucking someone's blood out of their neck and they were like, cut, Tom, we got it. And he was like, we were filming? They were like, yes, Tom. Yes, we were, Tom. Sorry. Didn't know that you didn't understand. That girl's dead. He's like, yeah, she's going to Xenu. They were like, we'll give you a 10. Does that 10 sound good for everyone? Let's do a company 10, gang. Let's do a company 10. What kind of, I don't even know if this is a suggestion or a cautionary statement. This just says the McRib gives you herpes. It's Mick herpes, by the way. They're called Mick bumps. That's not true. I can't have this slander been done on my show here that I just am sitting here shouting that the McRib gives you herpes, right? Bump, 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 bump. Yeah, I don't believe that to be true. I don't understand why anyone eats the McRib, but I don't think we need to start saying that it gives you herpes in order to dissuade people from eating it. I think the fact that it is a rib-shaped piece of meat with no bones in it that only comes out for times when pork belly prices drop to like below a cent. That seems like enough of a campaign to like stop it, right? The McRib gives you herpes. I mean, can you imagine that? If you just go to your doctor, just like, so have you been sexually active recently? No, honestly, because of the pandemic, I haven't had sex in a long time. Interesting. What about maybe you were in some public places? But no, nothing like that. Interesting. Do you eat McDonald's? Yeah, love the shit. Love McDonald's. Yeah, love the McRib. Oh, what? Well, what? Well, eating a McRib is the same thing as having sex unprotected with some dirty people. So you have an MTD. What? A McDonald's transmitted disease. These are common. We get these a lot. That's why we have Brian Cox doing the voiceover. Cox, it's a reach. Wait, you're a doctor. Yes, but I also am working for McDonald's. You just sort of let that leak. Yes. Yep, I also work for McDonald's. I'm a doctor who also works for McDonald's. Anyway, I'm going to give you a prescription for some McRibbits, and those are little McRib pills, and you'll take 2 of those every morning, and no more scratching. No more scratchy scratch, okay? What the fuck? I don't want to sound, I don't want to sound unworldly, but the suggestion is Greek Christmas, and I did not know that Greek Christmas was a thing. So what is that like? How does that happen? Does just Santa show up with a bunch of his brothers? Just like down the chimney and there's like 9 of them. You're like, Santa? And he's like, hey, it's me, it's Santa Claus. And we've got 9 of my brothers. Hey, it's a Greek Christmas. I really don't know what a Greek Christmas is. I mean, I'm assuming you put Kalamata olives on the tree. And that you sprinkle some feta on there instead of fake snow. Make a nice little, you call it a festival. Nothing. Yeah, I did not know that Greek people had a specific Christmas. I don't know if it's different. Does Zeus bring the presents? Is Athena Mrs. Claus? Who are the elves? Sisyphus is? So I don't know. I don't know about the Greek Christmas. I don't know if that's a tossed out for a suggestion, but I have no clue. So, sorry. This is another crazy question. What's your go-to dance move? Well, I know Roy's suggestion. My go-to dance move, well, there's a couple you can do. I mean, I can't remember the fucking last time I danced. It was definitely at a wedding, and I was definitely intoxicated, but I don't know that with specificity. I just know that with, like, generalities, that's the only time you'll really see me doing that. I mean, I think my go-to dance move is to just drink a lot and then not really care. I mean, I feel like I have rhythm, like I can find the beat and stuff, so like that is an advantage. But then, yeah, I mean, I think like most people, the problem is like, what do I do with my feet, and they don't really know how to like, they kind of do like little like, like Mary Poppins Penguins moves, and they're like, all right, I'm starting, But your hands are easy. Hands are easy to dance with, I always like to cut them up with the masseuse, the masseuse dance move where it's just a little like, and then you work the shoulders, back and back, shoulder, right? So that's a good one. And then a lot of groin is good. A lot of like pumping the groin is good. People like that. People like when you do the fist into groin, not like you're punching a dick, fist into groin, something like that. Yeah, that's, and then slow dancing, that's different. Yeah, that's different. That's not even dancing. That's just like we're going to make out in front of everybody. But, that's like when you were a kid and you'd go to school dances. Like when I was a kid at school dances, I'd just headbang near the speaker. Weird I didn't get laid, but I just headbang near the speaker, and then, and when I say speaker, I mean the speaker of my graduation. I just headbang next to her. But, yeah, so I don't know. I don't really have one besides the masseuse, and just don't penguin your feet too much. I one time went country line dancing, and I was like, well, now I know what I hate, is that. Okay. What's your favorite thing about Dave? Aw, what a sweet question. His balls. There's a lot of things I like about Dave. Yeah, I like that he's really smart. I like that he's well informed. I like that he has good ideas. Yeah, I think my favorite thing about Dave is that he's like a friend dad in some way, where it's like he's a friend of mine, but then I can also be like, the government said that I didn't fill out my tax form right, and he's like, send it to me, I'll figure it out. I'm like, okay, I'm a child in a man's body. I often say, like, when I'm, like, on the road with Dave, like, I'm like a baby duck. Like, he's like a daddy duck, and I'm just like this little, like, baby duck just following his ass everywhere. I don't really know where I'm going. Like, if you were to stop me and be like, where are you going right now? I'd be like, I don't know, just where he's going. Like, no clue, just walking around, just like, just like in traffic, just like, where's my dad? I'm missing my car. What the hell? And he's like, here, son, here. So yeah, he's just like he gets it. He's smart man. I like how smart he is. Wearing socks to bed, yay or nay? I mean, nay. That's not. Look, you need. You can cover your feet up with like blankets and stuff. I don't like when you wake up with socks on. It feels like you've been binding your ankles with socks elastic all night, and you've just got those sock scars. Where you take your socks off in the morning and it just looks like you've been dragged through the desert on horseback, like with rope tied around your legs. Like you've just been dragged around. Like you've got all those like sock scars on your feet. It's just too much. And then not to mention the fluff factor, all of a sudden like fluff is all over your toes. It just looks like little mushrooms are growing inside of your feet. And you just wake up and you've got all that little, the little fluffy bits just coming off of your feet. It's weird. So no socks to bed. No. Socks to sex? We'll talk. Noah's Ark. Okay. Well, Noah's Ark is also a water park in the Wisconsin Dells, but I'm assuming you mean the biblical Ark of Noah. Yeah, that story, I don't mean to plug more holes in it, but what the fuck? That's the problem with the Bible, is there's just a lot of reaches, That's like that story is crazy. I mean, think of that, like, and what a prick God was in that situation, right? That's like God's just like, Noah. And he's like, yes, God, yes, yes. And he's like, there's going to be a huge flood. And he's like, oh, shit, I should probably get ready to get out of here. Thanks for the heads up, man. He's like, there's more. And he's like, okay. I need you to bring something with you. Okay, well, just to be clear, like, I have not prepared for this at all. I literally just found out about this just now. So it's listen, I need you to get one of every animal. Sorry, did you just say I need to get one of every animal? Yes. Okay. And then you need to get another one of the opposite sex. Wait, huh? What the fuck? What? Sorry. There's a flood coming? Yes, I said that. There's a flood coming. And I need to get ready because all my stuff is here, so I need to sort of do that, right? Yeah. So I'm just sort of like, what's the next part? I need you to get 2 of every animal and also put them on the boat. This does not sound much like a boat. I was picturing more of an ark. What's an ark? What the fuck is that? Language. Sorry. What is it? What's an ark? Like a really, really big ship. Okay, so and I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm not trying to be this kind of stickler guy, but so you're telling me that a huge flood is coming and I need to build a boat so big we're going to call it an ark, and then you want 2 of every species of animal on there. Yep. Do you have any sort of blueprint? No, you'll figure it out. Well, my first concern is the fighting. What do you mean? Well, like, I'm not going to put a lion near a squirrel. You know what I mean? Well, just figure it out. Make, like, little areas for him. Hey, is there any way you could build this shit? Because I'm just like a dude, and you're like all seeing, all knowing, and you know what I mean? Like, is there any way? No, that's your job. Well, it's a little bit of bullshit. Again, I'm not going to lie to you, because it's getting 2 of every animal. There aren't lions where I live. I don't have giraffes around here. I have bunnies. Good, get 2 of them. Yeah, but then there's all the... Awesome. Okay, anything else? It's going to last a really long time. Fuck, what? Language. That's just shit. Damn it. So load this huge ark with every animal and then go out for a long time? Yep, I'll check in. Cool, great to catch up. Glad I answered. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's here too. No, not him. Do you want to talk to him? No, I was just saying, hello, it's Jesus Christ. What do you need? Nothing. I was talking to your dad about something totally different. So I just got to get is there a problem? You just need to get 2 of every animal. Yep. Thank you so much. You guys are quite a team up there. Appreciate it. Fucking pricks. What? Oh, God, no. So there you go. There's Noah's story. By the way, I teach Sunday school. I do it early mornings after sermons. Okay, there we go. Do you have any pre- or post-show rituals? Yeah, I do. Pre-show, what I'll normally do, like for stand-up, I'll go over, when I'm talking, like I will have through the day, like listen to stuff that I've recorded. And then I'll make notes, and so I'll have a notebook, and I'll be going through that and sort of like making sure the new things I want to try out are locked in. And then post-show, a cocktail. I don't really drink when I do show. Well, when I did 2 shows years ago, I kind of stopped drinking during them. So after the show, I would always really want like a cocktail, like a martini or a glass of wine or something like that. So, and maybe one of those too. Yeah, just let your hair down a little bit after the show. So, yeah, that is my post-show ritual. Ronald Reagan explains how vaccines work. Well, that's going to be offensive because he was losing his mind. He was non-compos mentis. Well, okay. I mean, I think it would be... first of all, Trump laid the groundwork pretty well so far for how vaccines work. But I think... Well, we finally come up with a cure for coronavirus, okay? You just have to put a little needle in your arm, and then, Mr. President, that vaccine will take into your system, and it will make you immune to it. Right. So you take a little shot in your arm, and then you'll have a shot in your arm, and it'll... Then the shot in your arm will have a vaccine in it, and it'll make you immune. Yeah. Then it'll make you immune. You have a shot in your arm. Any questions? That's a lot of hands. Don't take any questions, sir. You're not ready to do that. Right. There'll be no questions. Good shit. Thanks, everybody. So, there you go. I don't have much on that. If my Reagan impression sounded better, I'd have gone longer there. Bringing home a beautiful houseplant only to watch it die slowly in the corner. Well, that's tough. My houseplant has not died yet. Knock on wood. I love my Robert. But yeah, I mean, there is something about, like, not caring for a thing that makes you feel very shitty. That's why, like, flowers to me are sort of weird, you know? Like, flowers are always just sort of like, you know, they're pretty much dead when you get them. They've been cut off, so they're, like, done, pretty much. So you're just going to, it's almost like the walk to death row. You're just sort of saying to the flowers, this is it. This is your last stop. You're going to sit on my coffee table, and you'll be there for 4 days, and then you will wilt, and then I'll get rid of you. You know, it seems like that's why I'd rather a plant, because a plant you can keep living and stuff like that. But I have had situations where I've been watching my houseplant die, and I've had to, like, figure out how to save him, you know? Like, when I drove one time on, like, a road trip with Robert, he looked like he was not getting very healthy, and there was quite a, you know, it was all hands on deck. But I'm looking at him right now. He looks marvelous. Here, have a look at Robert real quick. Look at this guy. Killing it. Okay, that was special guest star Robert Plant. He's a hero. Friends of Keith Richards. But yeah, I mean, you know, water the plant. Don't let the plant die. You need the plant. Okay. Oh God, sliding doors, Gareth. If your parents had never left England, but you were maybe still a stand-up comedian, boy, that would be weird, you know? That really would be strange, because a lot of my that's very strange, because a lot of my perspective is, you know, fully based upon my experience of being raised by these English people in a weird atmosphere. Being raised by English people in Wisconsin was so bizarre. So I think that formed me a lot. So I don't even know what you know, I would, you know, if I was an English stand-up, I'd be like, all right, yeah, lovely, yeah, thanks so much, everyone, lovely to be here, yeah, smashing your sissies. You ever go to the chip shop? Yeah, I bloody love the chip shop, I do, yeah. It's fucking phenomenal. I love a bit of chips. Only issue with a chip shop is when you get your chips, why have they put it on bloody newspaper? That's so you get your chips, you got all a bunch of bloody newspaper, and they fucking throw your chips in there, put a bunch of vinegar on it, and then you've got it in the news. I'm like, mate, I've touched the newspaper with my finger before. It's all black and, you know, newspapery. Says that happened in my fucking chips. Is that the idea? Also, that's the only place I get my bloody news from. The chip shop, right? Down the chippy. Get your newspaper, your chips, you know, I'll be eating my chips, and I'll go, oh, Christ, the economy's not doing very good in the fourth quarter, is it? Plus, there's a lot of vinegar on it. That's strange, that is. You know, stuff like that. They'd be like, you know, just be like, man, how good is Radio 1, eh? How good is Radio 1? Man, my second favourite radio station, Radio 3. My third favourite, Radio 2. Fourth favourite, Radio 4. You know? So, you can see that it would be very fruitful. How nice is a fucking pint? It's so fucking good. How good is that? There you go. So, there you go. That's sliding doors me. As you can see, probably wouldn't have worked out. Will Jose ever get a sibling? We're trying. What does that even mean, you must be thinking, and I don't even know. Will he ever get a sibling? I don't think he will. No. Like I said earlier, we are soulmates. We do not want to bring anyone else into this relationship. We're very happy. But yeah, I would, I mean, he's pretty good with other animals. He's not the best. He's certainly a territorial being. Like, whenever he's around other animals, you ever seen, like, gorillas when they just kind of, like, crop dust an area? Like, they'll just kind of, like, ooh, 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 like, run past an area, and you're just like, that's not a good sound. You know, that's how they sort of are, like, intimidating you. He'll do that. Like, if there's another animal chilling, like, he'll just kind of, like, cut through where they would be if they walked 4 steps ahead, and he's just like, just so you know, I'm fucking here. you know? So I don't think so. I think if I'd started early, maybe, but he's now so set in his ways. He's like, you know, he's not into it. So I do want to get, like, if I knew how long this was all going on, I would start to get, like, senior dogs. And like, I would love to have senior dogs. Like, that's something I would enjoy doing, you know, just, like, taking in some senior dogs, you know. But yeah, have not done that. Because, again, don't know what's happening in the world. Meatzilla. I don't know what Meatzilla is. Meatzilla. That's like a big meat festival? Or that's like a Godzilla made out of bacon? I don't know what Meatzilla is. I don't know what Meatzilla is. So, yeah, I don't know. I would assume it is a enormous meat thing of some kind. Is that what it is? Yeah, I don't know. Is it a restaurant? I've never heard of it. I apologize. I don't know what it is. The illegal cable hookup, also known as black box in the 90s. That was the fucking great. Like, cable, I mean, I'm old, you know? So, like, when cable was first coming out, like, it was the craziest shit in the world. You were like, wait, what is going on? Like, we're about to get a ton of new channels. And then so it sort of became like the thing where, like, you had to know someone who had cable, you know? Like, you had to, like, find someone who had cable and you spent times there. But then there was the illegal black box, and it was just this black box that you could steal cable with. And it was awesome. And it was a little temperamental, but you could still, like, get cable. So that was, like, what the poor, like, what, not the poor people, but, like, my family got it because, like, you know, we didn't want to buy cable at the time. So we had the little black box, and it was just an illegal cable hookup. It did not work as well, but it was a shot, you know? But then you would also have the problem of, like, you know, a lot of those, you couldn't get a lot of channels. So sometimes they would come in. Sometimes channels that shouldn't come in would just come in. Like, sometimes you just get Showtime, and you'd be like, holy shit, I have Showtime. You know, and it wouldn't last that long. But for the most part, it used to do this thing where it would be like, you could hear the audio of the channel, so you could hear the dialogue. So if you were like like if you were just blind, this would work for you. This would be enough for you. You could do this. But if you had vision, you didn't want to, because it would look like they would be all distorted colors, the people, and the TV would have these kind of warp lines, and then the lines would be going up, and it would be kind of warping, and you would sort of be down there, like, staring at it, right? And the truth is, what I'm talking about is when there would be, like, you know, a dirty movie on, and you try to, like, catch some, you know, boob or something as a kid, you'd just be like, you could sort of see it. Sometimes it would make out, sometimes, like, an image would be, like, 70% there, and you'd be like, oh my God, I'm looking at a tit. I see a tit. And, you know, it'd be like, woman, you'd be like, whoa, the tit's getting weird, but I love it. So, yeah, the illegal cable hookup was something fierce. Really was. It's crazy now to think of that, like, because where we are now, where now it's like, do you have Peacock? But yeah, back then it was just like probably 20 channels, and if you didn't have it, you just would find some shady dude in your neighborhood who had the black box, and then you would just steal it, and it was fine. And people would, like, I think there was a whole thing where they were, like, threatening you, like, do you know that stealing cable will get you in jail for 20 years? And everyone was like, nah, fuck you. You know, so you just did it. But yeah, so I remember the black box very well. It was a hell of a time. That was the 90s. This is the 90s, okay? What would 12-year-old Garrett do with $100? Shit, that's a really good question. You know, I had a friend named Gary Dollywall, whose family, like, owned a bunch of like, I think it was 76 gas stations or something like that. So they were really rich. And so Gary would go and take literally $100 bills from his dad's briefcase, and his dad wouldn't know. And then Gary would show up to, like, a slumber party of, like, 4 people, and he'd give us all $100. And you would just, $100 now is not nothing to, you know, scoff at, but $100 then was like, I don't know how to get away with having $100. I didn't know what to do. But what I would basically do, what 12-year-old Garrett would basically do, would be buy McDonald's, probably buy some sort of, like, activity, maybe like a video game or something like that. It would probably go to a video game, because there were some video games I remember that would just be, like, crazy expensive. I remember when I got The Man with the Bionic Arm or something like that it was called. And that was like $90. And I remember my parents being like, what the fuck? And then I like played the game and I was like, this game's not very good. It was just some guy who was just like shoot his arm. But yeah, I would probably McDonald's and then probably a video game. That would probably be what I would do with $100. One-hit wonders. Yeah, that's a thing. But that's still a good thing. I feel like like it's really hard to make a hit song. So if you're like a one-hit wonder, like you did the impossible, just not a bunch, you know? It's what I always love about the one-hit wonders is like when you know they're a one-hit wonder, but they don't know yet, you know? Like I remember watching Lou Bega, for the guy who did Mambo No. 5, get interviewed once. And he was just like, man, if you think Mambo No. 5 is good, get ready. And in my head, I was like, I think this is the last we see from Lou Bega, you know? And that was it. There's not Mambo. You know, that's what he should do is come out with a line of Mambo songs, you know? This is Mambo No. 8. And his record label's like, Lou. And he's like, this is Mambo 35. They're like, Lou. He's like, Mambo 119. They're like, Lou, stop. Do you have anything that's not Mambo and a number? He's like, I have 150 Mambo. And they're like, get out of the office. Leave the office. Or like Chumbawamba, you know, like same thing. They were just like this English group. It was just like, if you fall down and get up again, get ready. We've got a lot of other songs for you. Nobody's heard from them since. So there is that thing. But then there's bands that I think would be considered one-hit wonders that I fucking love, like Devo. Like Devo to me is a great band, and they would probably be considered a one-hit wonder with Whip It, but they have so many other good songs. So yeah, it's weird. The worst one is the Verve, the group that did Bittersweet Symphony. They stole the violin sound is from a Rolling Stones song. So they stole the violin sound, had the one hit, that's it, that's the rest of it, and I think it's all of the royalties go to the Rolling Stones. So the band that came up with Bittersweet Symphony just was like, we want to give the Rolling Stones more money. That's essentially what it turned into because they took the violin. So, you know, slippery slope. But I do think that if you came up with one hit, that's one more than most bands. That's good, Baba. Okay. Oh, that's a long one. How old were you when you went on your first date and what did you do? And then, okay, so how old were you when you went on your first real date and what did you do? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think like a proper date. I mean, to me, it was like the prom or like homecoming kind of felt like the date. I'm trying to think my first, okay, this is weird. I kind of remember this. There was this girl that I'd been hooking up with, and I invited her over on Valentine's Day, and she came over, and I put on Trainspotting because it was my favorite movie. And she was just like really weirded out by it. Because like Trainspotting's a movie that's very surreal in many different ways. Plus it's about heroin, but it's awesome. It's an awesome movie. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of like a hookup date. Like that's kind of what I would do. I think it kind of fucked me up with like dating in the future because I think it made me be like, oh yeah, you basically just, you meet up with someone and then you hook up, like I never I mean, even when I'm on prom, those aren't proper dates, but I certainly think what it was always like, it was like Netflix and chill. But when I was a kid, it was like, you'd be like, do you want to watch Legends of the Fall? And you'd be like, boy, do I. Yes, I want to get jerked off in your basement couch. But I don't know. I'm trying to think like the first real date I went on. I mean, yeah, I don't really remember like a serious, like, will you go on a date with me? I do know that when I got like a little bit older and I went on dates, like in college, like I went on dates and I think you'd do the regular thing. You'd go to get a dinner and then you'd have a drink or whatever, I would love to watch me on a date in college now because I was so, just like such a, like I can't even imagine having money. I don't know how I paid for shit. I must have been lying or like, I don't know, just like eating cheaply. Like she's like, I'll have the pad thai. And I'm like, I'll just have the plastic flowers. Thanks. So yeah, I don't, and then I learned eventually that like, it's not, I don't love the first date dinner thing. I don't love that. I think that's such a weird, like, I'd love to get to know you while we're putting food in our mouths, to me just feels weird. It's like, there's so many other things you have to do. Whereas I feel like if you're like, hey, let's get a drink, or hey, let's get coffee or something like that, then you could talk more. By the way, when I say get a coffee, I think that's happened 2 times. Like anytime someone's asked me to get a coffee, I'm like, well, we're not having sex. This is not how sex starts. Sex doesn't start at 2 p.m. on a Thursday, just meeting out at a place like, hello, lovely. This cappuccino is fantastic. Well, now that we're both sober, let's not make any mistakes. Take care, Gloria. So yeah. Oh, martial arts. When you bring up martial arts, to me, you should show some goddamn respect because I was a yellow belt 2 times. That's right. So I think that actually, if you do that math, it's almost like a green or a purple or something, whatever comes next. I think it's green. But I used to love martial arts when I was a kid. Yeah, I did my counting here recently, and I said it was Japanese and it was Korean, and people thought it was stupid of me, and it was stupid. But that's how I knew I could count in Korean because, yeah, I took a couple different martial arts classes. I remember I really liked it. Like, it was really a good workout, but it's one of those things where it's just very hard to stick to when you're a kid. Well, the one thing that I never understood, like, about martial arts classes, like, I took it when I was probably, like, 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that. And, yeah, like I said, got that yellow belt, and I was like, that's enough for me to control the streets. I'm out of here, sensei. But to get the yellow belt, you had to do a front kick, and you do the front kick into the board. You had to break the board. And it's really easy to break a board, by the way, with your foot. They didn't tell me that. But I remember the second time I went, I was probably a little older. I was probably like 13-ish. And the class that I went to, I can't remember if if it was mixed or I just had to take a later class or something, but there were like a lot of younger kids in it. So I would be like a white belt, and then there would be like a 9-year-old brown belt. And we would be like fighting each other, and the brown belt kid would try to who was like half my size, because I'm like going through adolescence, is trying to like throw me onto the ground, and I would just be standing there. And the sensei would be like, you have to let him throw you to the ground. And I'd be like, but he can't. And he'd be like, but he's a higher rank than you. You have to let him. And I'd be like, yeah, but he can't. So what kind of like bullshit is this? Like, no wonder he's got a brown belt. You're feeding him a bunch of shit. This is a lie. So then you'd have to fall for the kid. But then I was just strong. I mean, just because I was like bigger, it's like that Seinfeld episode where Kramer fights children. Like, I was just like a bigger kid, and there were all these little kids, and I was just like, I'm going to fucking own these little kids, just throwing them around. And then I also remember at my martial arts class finding out that a kid I went to school with who was like kind of nerdy, like cool kid, but like you would never see it, was a like 4th degree black belt and just didn't tell anyone. And then that's when I was like, Vinay knows what's going on. All right, Vinay. I see you, bro. I see you, Vinay Gandhi. I get you. And, yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much my dalliance with martial arts. It's one of those things I'd always love to do more. Like my buddy Evan has taken judo a couple times, and, but it's just like, I don't know. I think I'm at the point now where I just kind of have like given up certain things, like basketball. I had to retire from basketball because it wasn't anything other than it was just like you take a little fall and then these little nagging injuries like stick with you for like a month, as opposed to when you're like 25 and you're just like, fuck it, let's keep playing. Like I remember when I was 25, I really hurt my ankle once, and then it was just like, I was like, fuck it, I'll play through it. I also remember the first time one of my friends got a serious injury when I was like, we are old. Gentlemen, let's all lock this moment in. We are officially old. My friend Adam popped his ankle, and we all heard it, and he was on the ground for like 20 minutes. And it was really hard to feel bad for him because the noises he was making were that of like an orgasm. He was just on the ground like, oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah, it hurts. Oh, fuck. Oh my God. I can't even see. And I was like, this dude's about to come. So yeah, so there you go. Oh, that's it. That's it okay, that's it. That's the end of the suggestions. Okay, so now we had a guest suggestion, a celebrity guest suggestion, Roy Wood Jr. I kind of think I know which one Roy's is going to be. Because I don't think I think it's either down to the slow plant, the plant slowly dying, or it's down to the illegal cable hookup, or the McRib. I could see him giving the McRib suggestion. I don't know. Knowing Roy, I would think he would have also had an illegal cable hookup. So I'm going to say that we share the illegal. The McRib gives you herpes is Roy's. Damn it. That's a good one. Ah, that's a shame. So that must be true because Roy's a doctor. Yeah, so that's the end of it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, YouTube, for tuning in, everybody. A couple things real quick. Don't forget, we have a live dollop on January 21st that I encourage everybody to come out and check out. They're virtual tickets. They're through Rush Tix. No, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Don't hold me to that. But there's that. And then we have another Avail stand-up show coming up soon. I can't remember exactly when that is. If you're on my YouTube or not on my YouTube, please subscribe to it. It's Gareth Reynolds TV, YouTube.com/Gareth Reynolds TV. And on there, I have a bunch of content. I have highlights of this. They'll be edited together very nicely. And then there's also Pandemic, which is a little web series I started doing with my mother. And we're going to do election coverage. The Dollop is going to do inauguration coverage, January 20th, we'll be doing inauguration coverage on my YouTube channel. So listen to the Dollop. Check out Point versus Point. And I know why we're all here, for Jose the Cat. So I will find him. Give me 1 second, please. Bear with me. The cat of the hour. Here he is. By the way, passed out. So sleepy. Had to wake my sleepy boy. He was a little bit annoyed. My sleepy guy was in my bed with his little head on my pillow instead. This little cutie's having some fun. He knows Gareth's is almost done. He enjoyed a 2-week break. He's upset at this mistake. This is a cutie pie indeed. He's my soulmate, all I need. We're best friends forever, yeah. That's why I am looking up at... Okay. All right, we're good. We just wanted to have a little sing-song. So that's Jose. There you go, Jose. Say hello to the people, Weeple. Look at him. So docile. So sweet. So lovely. My baby boy, my baby boy, my baby man, my little guy, my little man. He's like, can I get back to fucking bed? Jose, you sleep while others look at you and weep. You're an angel from heaven above. Look at all those hearts that infers love. You are popular, a celeb cat. People mock you, say you're sort of fat, but I don't care what they think. That is bad. That's why you're my best friend that I've ever had. Don't listen to critics, they don't care about you. Just listen to me. That's what we do, 'cause he's a sweet little baby. He's getting upset as I raise my volume right behind his tet. Tet is French for the word head, and that's all I said instead, 'cause sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. 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 Oh!
His name is Gareth. Hence why it's Gareth's. His name is Gareth. And he rips bits. His name is Gareth. His name is Gareth. Hence why it's Gareth's.